The only government-approved secondary school for visually impaired students, Government High School Adeta, has 11 students. 10 of them are boys, while Bushra Abbas is the only female registered student. In June, when I visited the school, Bushra, a 17-year-old native of Ilorin Babadudu compound, Ijiba, sat idle in the classroom fiddling with a paper on her desk while her classmates copied notes from the board. The SS1 art class student would later ask her classmates to read out the lesson notes to her while she wrote on her braille writing materials. At the close of school, she joins her sibling to board a commercial motorcycle home while the boys returned to the school hostel. Bushra expressed displeasure with this arrangement.
Tó bá jẹ́ pé mo wà ní school, gbogbo tó bá ń ṣe ní ìmọ̀ tún yé mi sí kò sí èmi àtẹnita tún jọ jẹ́ wù báyìí nílé èmi nìkan náà ni. Mo fẹ́ jí wọ́n ṣe tóbìnrin síbẹ̀.
As a visually impaired student, Bushra requires typing skills to operate a computer, a typewriter, and write and read in braille to communicate effectively. Hence, she juggles between regular classroom attendance and the special education lab to learn these skills, a schedule not recognized by the school timetable.
Ìjọ́ mi báyìí ní ráyè kíláàsì ìṣàwò nífẹ̀ẹ́ jí ń jáde. Táìmù ìgbà tí mo bá jáde sí ni mo lè wọ kíláàsì tí wọ́n pè register number. Wọ́n mọ̀ á rò pé ìwà school ni.
Unlike Bushra, Agnes Daniel, Jariat Momonu, and Muibat dropped out of school after primary education. Agnes had been at home since 2016 because of the distance from her home in Tanke to GHS Adeta.
And I've been at home for the past 9 years. I really wish to further my education.
Due to her inability to further her education and a failed attempt to learn hairdressing, Muibat, a resident of Babandoma, has reclined into a shell built by societal rejection and government inaction. Muibat's mother said allowing Muibat to study outside of Kwara is not an option. Jariat Momonu, who graduated at the School for Special Needs Oyo in 2023, would rather not talk about her ordeal. The first attempt to talk to her proved abortive, and on the second attempt, her responses were short. At the 55th anniversary of Government High School Adeta in August 2022, the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdrazak promised to renovate the hostel.
I've had the request about the sports facilities. We'll do that. We'll also look at bringing back boarding facilities into the school.
However, as of July 2025, when the reporter visited, except for the structures and paintings, the interior of the hostel conjured imagery of deprivation. At the girls' hostel, now occupied by staff, clothes hung loosely on ropes tied adjacent rooms. After the time of visit, there was no one in sight and the rooms were locked. The patron in charge of the male hostel, Malam Abdulkadir Sulaiman, who is also visually impaired, said necessary measures must be put in place for visually impaired girls to learn there. The former chairman, Nigeria Association of the Blind, NAB Kwara State Chapter, Malam Bashir Abdulgani, said all is not well.
Because of their anxious to go to school, they move to other states where they will be able to go to secondary school. We have many of them moving to Ekiti State or your state. We met some commissioners. They said that we'll do something.
State Chairman NAB Akim Lawal called for an urgent intervention by the Kwara State government so visually impaired girls can once again have access to secondary school education.
They made us realize that effort is going. Well, okay, effort is going on this matter for more than 10 years. For how long should we continue to have our girls sitting down at home?
The Kwara State government is not unaware of the plight of visually impaired girls in the state. In an interview with the newly assigned Commissioner for Education, Dr. Lawal Olongbebe, he acknowledged that efforts were on to resolve the issue of the female hostel at Adeta. However, he said after several meetings with stakeholders, the idea of adopting Queen Elizabeth School came up.
I have reached at least 90% conclusion of moving the blind girl student to Queen Elizabeth School. That environment to us is more conducive for them.
Why the visually impaired community awaits the Kwara State government's decision, Bushra and her mother appealed to government to speed up action.
Oore tí ó bá ṣe fún gbogbo wa kán mọ̀ sí lásìkò.
Ìrànlọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n bá ṣe fún mi tí ó fi dé èèyàn, irúṣẹ́ tí ó bá tọ́ sí tí ó mọ̀ ṣe tó jẹ́ pé tó bá kàwé tó lọ síwájú tí ó fi dé èèyàn, ó wù mí lẹ́nu.
In Ilorin, I am Rasheedat Ilyas.